it was an extraordinary vintage, and I will tell you why. But we did not expect the wines to show so well early on in the spring. Of course, the weather is so beautiful during your visit to Bordeaux, the pressure is high, and the wines probably show at their best. But if we were to summarize the vintage, the main factor, of course, was the drought. We had so little water during the summer. The 3 summer months, we had a little more than 2 inches in Saint-Emilion, a little less than 3 in Pomerol. Compared to 2009, for instance, where we got a little more rain, and we got some rain early on in August, I speak of 2009, which explained that the wines were maybe a little easier in the approach, less concentrated, a little more friendly in 2009. But in 2010, you have the concentration, which is fantastic. You have slightly higher acidity, which may be due to concentration. You know that at the end it was so dry that there was some evaporation, and clearly concentration in acidity, which gives the freshness, and concentration in alcohol. That may have been the main risk in 2010, high alcohol. But if people were reasonable and were not playing with overripeness, we were able to peak between 14 and 14.5, which is still very high, but to avoid the 15 or 16, which maybe some people reach, which they regret, because as you know, from California at least, to make a wine at 16 degrees alcohol is impossible, it's completely unbalanced. So, but those are very few cases, and in general, I would say that it is a special success. I will still bet on the 2009, because for me, and you know me well enough, I try not to be a man of excess, and 2009 was such a perfectly balanced wine, usually, with so much charm. In 10, I think we may have a little bit of excess, either alcohol, either tannins, either acidity sometimes. So there are more extraordinary wines in a way, but not as perfectly balanced, I think, as 2009. So I have a slight preference with 2009, but I may change mine in the coming years, you know.
Well, thank you very
much. The 10 is more impressive, let's call it that way. But in terms of equilibrium, perfect balance, I will bet on the 2009. You saw, for instance, Trotanoy, which is a little square. I think the 2009 Trotanoy is maybe more perfect, better balance. And Lafleur-Petrus, for some other reason, maybe the 2010 is better than the 2009. So it really goes chateau by chateau. It depends on the date of picking, the age of the vines, probably the yield, and of course the terroir. And so there are so many tiny details, but you know, we will be discussing that for the coming 20 years, I hope so, at least for me, which one is the best. Just in the same way, we are still discussing between 89 and 90, which is the best.